What is up, guys? DT Ninja here to give you guys my RuroKen Hokkaido Arc Chapter 34 discussion. Okay, guys, if you guys already know, Chapter 34 of the Hokkaido Arc, we got the conclusion and Otaru. We got a lot of things. The confrontation with Kenshin and, Kanrio. Kanrio is told by Kenshin that Aoshi is coming to Hokkaido, and we get him freaking out, running away like crazy. That was really great because it showed the seriousness of that situation if that encounter were to ever happen. Also, we get they're talking to each other, Kenshin and Sanosuke, about the Kinkaku Heki and the information that they know so far. The family moments between the kids and also Kenshin and Sanosuke, that was really nice. We also got the whole thing between Shimonji and Honda, where his failure was too much, calling him a disgrace and killing him in broad daylight. That was crazy. So yeah, a lot of things happened, but we didn't get anything from Sapporo, right? We didn't get anything from Saito. Well, I got some great news for you guys. Because this is a later video and Chapter 35 has been released in Japan, I am currently working on it, so I'm going to share some spoilers with you guys from the latest chapter, and I am happy to tell you Saito is in the chapter. Saito does make an appearance in the chapter. A lot of people are in this chapter, so you will definitely like Chapter 35. Okay. Now, if you guys noticed my Hajime Saito figure like the last video, it has been added. It's right here. It is an acrylic stand from Japan. Now, this is from the 25th anniversary exhibition. So his name right here shows Hajime Saito. And right here it says Akzokzan. And this is during the fight with him and Kenshin. So this is really cool. Yeah, so it's like a logo for my figure, kind of not a logo, but a label, a really good label, because he's in the Gatotsu stance just like the figure. It works really well. So anyways, that's what that is. Let's get to the discussion. It'll be a shorter one this time because I want to focus more on the spoilers. Now, there are 4 questions. First question, will Shimonji be punished since he was in charge of the Otaru campaign and it ultimately failed? Will he be punished? For example, Shimonji actually killed his own subordinates. He killed Ono, right, for failing to even fight against Sanosuke, and then also he killed Honda for failing to fight against, the Gatling gun. So, that was pretty crazy, but will he be punished? Will he be punished the same way? I don't know if he'll be killed or not like that, because he is a general, so I feel like they have a little bit more, respect as far as, that goes, so I feel like he'll get another chance, but he might be reprimanded. He might be punished in some manner. I don't know if he's just gonna have to stay somewhere or be demoted or something like that, but I feel like, he will be punished in some manner. Probably by Kanzato, which is the crazy eyebrows. I mean, that guy is the kind of the leader of the generals, so he's like the main general, because he's the only one that talked to their supreme leader, so, their Shokun. It sounds like Shogun, but Shokun. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. So I don't know how you guys feel, but yeah, that's probably how that will go. Number 2, Aoshi and Kanrio. Okay, as you guys know, I mentioned Kenshin tells Kanrio that Aoshi is coming to Hokkaido. And of course, you got the crazy face, oh my god! And he's running like crazy. I really like this. I really like this because it actually gives him an understanding that this is a possibility. This could actually happen to him at some point later on. It could actually happen. They could encounter each other. But will they? Do you guys think they will? I feel like they both will be in the same place, but I feel like, they're probably going to avoid that kind of situation, especially with the way Kanrio reacted here. I just don't see it happening again. But I am glad that Kenshin, put that idea of, Aoshi is coming, you have to change, you have to shape up, or, something bad could happen. I don't know if Aoshi's going to attack him if that were the case, but I just don't think they're gonna, have that encounter. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think they'll ever meet again? And if they do, how will Aoshi react? We saw Kanryo's reaction. What will Aoshi's be? So that's something to think about. Okay, number 3. Why didn't Sanosuke and Asahi tell Kenshin more about Kinkaku Heki's secrets? Okay, as you guys know, the Kinkaku Heki have some secrets, but they're very good at keeping them from, from Kenshin. Obviously, he mentioned it in this chapter that they basically disappeared after their fight, and they really weren't able to figure out anything about their situation or anything, because they're good at moving and also just keeping them in the dark. So why didn't Sanosuke and Asahi tell them about the secrets? Because we know in chapter 27, 28, I think it was chapter even 29 and 30, all that fight, there's the part where Sanosuke is playing dead against Ono, right? Ono thinks he's dying on the ground, and Sanosuke is playing dead, and Asahi is sitting there speaking in Sano's voice, learning about the Kinkaku Heki secrets. Why didn't Sanosuke tell him? Now, I can understand Asahi. Asahi is probably, enjoying the food. Well, obviously, she's got the whole thing where she learned a little kanji, so, her friends are very happy for her and everything. It's more of a wholesome moment. But for Sano, why didn't he tell Kenshin that they do have some information? Maybe he does tell him, but it's off screen. It's not shown. But it does make me wonder, because there is a huge secret. The brilliance. You guys know brilliance is where the blood red eyes come out, and that is where the blood vessels are suppressed and the power is increased. The endurance is increased. That's where the secret of the Kinkaku Heki lies, in brilliance. And we saw Honda do brilliance. We saw Ono do brilliance. So we know this happens for all Kinkaku Heki members. Why didn't Sanosuke tell Kenshin that brilliance is something that the Kinkaku Heki, is specific to? So I do wonder that, if he is going to tell him, and why didn't he tell him in this chapter? It does make me wonder. Also, another thing, there are 3 outsiders from the Kinkaku Heki that are not from the original clan. Everyone who originated from this Kamakura samurai clan from years and years ago. Everyone but these 3. There's 3 outsiders, and one of them it has something with Saito. He hates him. When we saw, he's in Byakuya's group, so we know some of them are in Byakuya's group. So that's very interesting, and I am wondering why that wasn't said, because those are very important. Because think about it, not only are the outsiders important, but also the brilliance, because Byakuya was defeated by Kenshin, but he never used brilliance. He still has that he still didn't use that extra power. So, I mean, that's just crazy. He had crazy power to begin with, but brilliance with Byakuya, man, I can't even imagine how much power that's going to give him. So that's something that Kenshin should know. That's just my opinion, but I do want to know why it wasn't shown. Why wasn't he telling him? And like I said, he might do it off screen. He might tell him, in the next chapter, some of these things. Now, he's not going to tell him everything, but, in between them. We might not read it or see it, but between them, I feel like he will tell him. But I am kind of curious why it wasn't spoken, because Asahi did get that intelligence from Ono, and Sanosuke did hear it. So, anyways, okay, the last one. Do you guys feel that Kenshin letting Kanryu leave without going back to jail was a good thing? Letting him leave without, any, reprimanding or any punishment was a good idea. Do you think that was a good idea? Like I said, it goes back to the second question about Kanryu and Aoshi. There's a possibility there. But also, I feel like it probably was a good idea because, it allowed Kanryu to have that development, that where he's going. He finally learned what he wants to do. He wants to work for the government. He wants to lobby the politicians. He wants to be a political merchant. So we could see him working with the government. It's interesting. So, but do you think it's the right decision? Because what happens if the villains or, another group decides to come to him and he's a merchant? He's going to sell it to whoever. It doesn't matter. So it just makes you wonder if, Kanri is going to stick to his plan or, become like the old Kanryu. Okay, guys, so that's the discussion. Like I said, it's very short this time, so now is the time for the spoilers. Okay, the spoilers for chapter 35. Okay, first thing, Ono's final moments are in this chapter. We get 3 fronts in this chapter. We get Otaro, so we get the flashback kind of Sanosuke and Ono's final moments. So that's the first front. The second front is Hakodate. So we do get Kenshin returning back home in his home in Hakodate. So we get, Kaoru and Kenji. You get some of the Jupongatana. You get a lot of things. And then the final part, we got Saito and Nagakura against a Kinkaku Heki member in Sapporo. So let's get to the more detailed things. So first things first, Ono. Okay, so he says, I don't want to die in vain. I don't have much time, so ask me anything. Ask me anything, Sanosuke. What does Sanosuke ask him? He asks him, where exactly is the headquarters for the Kinkaku Heki? Remember, this is what Saito and Nagakura are looking for. They're currently, all the police force is looking for that base. It's a very key thing in this whole arc, because without the location, they can't really, attack it and go full force. So that's a very key thing. Now, what's interesting about this is Ono doesn't know. Ono doesn't know the location. This is kind of crazy. And Sanosuke says, what? He's like, hey, how can you not know? Well, here's the thing. Apparently, he grew up in the Kinkaku. He grew up in the main base. So he was a child, and he had to, once he reached 7 years old, he was basically taken out into the world, okay? And they're split up. They're scattered throughout Hokkaido, and they train. And if they survive that training, they become Kinkaku Heki. If they don't, they die and they disappear. So I think it's about half of the kids, half of the children are basically just deemed useless and they die. Okay, so if they're not strong enough, they die. So very similar, if you're strong, you live. If you're weak, you die. Basically, that's basically what it is for the Kinkaku Heki. Just like Shishio's philosophy, right? So it's kind of sad, really. I mean, Ono's telling Sanosuke that I was a child and I was put into the groups, I survived, but the thing is, even after you become Kinkaku Heki, you will never, ever step foot in the main base ever again, unless you're a general or you're put on guard duty. So there are 2 possibilities. But if you're not a general, which he's not, you'll never see the main base ever again. So that means from age 7 to whatever it is, the rest of their life, they'll never ever step foot in their home where they were born, where they were, basically raised as a fighter. They're never going to see their home again. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, that was pretty eye-opening when we hear this. Now, the next thing is that Sanosuke's like, okay, I understand, that's pretty terrible, but, do you have any final request? Do you have a last request you want me to tell your family? Do you have a wife or kid or a brother or sister, mom or dad, your parents? Do you have someone? If there is someone, if you have family, I'll get this message to them. I will tell them. I will make sure they get it. So please tell me. And then Ono goes on and he tells him that I believe that they were telling me that they're going to Hakodate after Otaru's campaign. So that means they're heading to Hakodate. That's not good because that's where, that's where Kaoru, that's where Kenji, and that's where they are. So that's where they're heading. So he goes on to say that Sano's like, no, don't tell me any more information. Just tell me your last request. And what's crazy about this, Ono says, my last request, beware of Hakodate. I wish you the best of luck. And that was his final words, and he died with a smile on his face. Literally, he was basically asking him, tell me something, your last request to your family. He chose to tell Sanosuke that the danger is really in Hakodate. And that was pretty crazy. It's a really sad moment too. Ono dies with a smile on his face. So yeah, that was quite detailed. But yeah, I've been translating that scene, so anyways, okay, the next thing, like I said, in Hakodate, we get Kaoru welcomes Kenshin back. They find their house. They actually have a house. It's really beautiful. It's big. They step in it, and the Jupongatana, Cho and Kamatari are just lying on the ground. And of course, Kaoru is livid. She's angry. And then you got Sojiro just sitting Indian style with Kenji on his lap. That was really funny. And he's got a dango, so he's eating sweets. That was great. And then on the outside, you got Anji talking to Kenshin, and they are going over the situation for the Kinkaku Heki and all that's happened so far. So that was interesting. And you can definitely see Anji is the leader of the Jupogatana, of the former Jupogatana. So that's interesting. I liked it. Now, then we get the kids. So the kids are trying to find this place. I don't know if they're going sightseeing or if they're actually trying to find like the government office or something. I don't know. But anyways, they run into an old man, and the old man is one of the Kinkaku Heki members. He's the guy who has a family that was shown in chapter 9. Anyways, he walks up the hill, and apparently all the Kinkaku Heki members are assembling, not all of them, but a great deal of them. The Kabato prison attack squad is there. You got Kanzato. Kanzato is there. I mean, Kanzato is a pretty significant general, so things are about to get serious. So he's basically gathering the Kinkaku Heki together, telling them that there's something going to happen here in Hakodate. They're obviously planning something. So that was pretty crazy. And then Kenshin is shown, obviously, with Kaoru and Sanosuke. Kenshin kind of falls over. He's kind of exhausted still. And then at that moment, the next page, Byakuya wakes up. So Byakuya is finally awake. He learns that Kenshin was off in Otaru. And then finally, we get the clock tower in Sapporo, which is a famous clock tower, by the way. And then we get the skull mask. Yes, guys, the skull man. Hyobei the skull, is fighting against Nagakura and Saito. And what's crazy about this, Nagakura has like some, bruising on his face, so he's obviously fighting. But the thing is, he has two swords. Hyobei has two swords, and they're crossing each other. So you can definitely tell there's a battle going on. And Saito's kind of down on one knee, and he's got a broken blade. And I noticed this, but I also wonder, is this the same blade that was broken against Byakuya? Because we've seen he didn't have a blade before, but did he keep it? Because remember, he said it can't be replaced. So it makes me wonder that he hid the blade away from everyone to not let them worry. And then once they went off to battle, he went and got it and put it in his, sheath. So he's still fighting with that broken blade. It makes me wonder. But yeah, the ending was awesome, showing Hyobei versus Nagakura versus Saito. So we're gonna get Hyobei versus Saito and Nagakura. Hopefully we get the Sapporo fight next time. So yeah, guys, that's the chapter. I kind of gave you an overview of the chapter without the, all the text. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens in this chapter. So pretty crazy. A lot of things happen. Like I said, you got the Jupongatana, the former Jupongatana, Anji, Sojiro, Kamatari, Cho. You got Kaoru Kenji. They all welcome Kenshin back. He has a house now. You also get Byakuya coming back, waking up. You got the assembling of the Kinkaku Heki. I mean, this is crazy. There's so much happening that I cannot wait to translate this, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed my discussion. I tried to keep it shorter, but I ended up giving you quite a bit of spoilers. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.